Okay, so let's do a proper introduction.
Yeah, no, it's not like it's already 2 minutes in.
That'll be... Hey, that'll be...
You're recording already?
All right. So, damn, Grandma about blew a gasket tonight at the wrestling show, huh? that was a pretty fun sight to see.
Yeah.
She was I literally thought she was gonna throw that cane at Solomon Tupu tonight.
It's almost like he went on her lawn or something. Like,
get your hands off my boy.
Yeah. She loves her CJ. I agree with Hannah. That has to be a relative of some kind.
Guessing either his mom or maybe his grandma.
Yeah, maybe. And I see this other older guy with her, so I assume that's either her like adult son or maybe her husband. I'm not entirely sure. But anyway,
like CJ isn't an adult.
I mean, it depends on how this works out. Honestly, that might be like CJ's grandma for all we know. But in any case, welcome back to the Off the Balcony podcast. We're your hosts. We're not going to reintroduce ourselves.
We could.
Do we have to?
No.
I think they know us already. Like
Okay, I'm the captain, so...
Yeah, this ship's going down.
Well, I'm the Admiral then, so...
And I'm the mascot.
And Steven, where are you?
The tech guy doesn't want to be here right now.
Oh, bullshit.
You're on trial for mutiny, sailor.
Anyway, welcome back. Thanks for joining us. We just we got back from a wrestling show a while ago. Iron Spirit Pro Wrestling. That's always a fun night. Anyone want to talk about their highlights of what they saw tonight? The insanity.
And I think it's a guy that we haven't seen there before named Kenway, who turned himself into like probably the most hated wrestler there.
Yeah, after he just knocked the crap out of Xavier Sky. I didn't even know who he was before because I haven't seen him on any of the other matches.
I don't think he's been at any of the shows we've been to.
Yeah, he might have been with the company just wrestling elsewhere. But yeah, he didn't say a lot, but he did enough to make himself the enemy of everyone tonight because how he knocked around Xavier.
My biggest standout of the night of who was the Shrek school bully guy?
Oh, Craig Mitchell.
Craig Mitchell, like, I'm not funny, guys.
Yeah, Craig Mitchell.
Yeah, he looks like if human Shrek was a manlet.
Yeah, he kind of has
acts like a playground bully.
Yeah, he's got kind of the trash man thing going on from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, so I kind of enjoyed that.
And apparently Dante Leone, the guy he was fighting that looks like a mix between Hot Topic and Spencer's.
Yeah.
Apparently he's been in the company for a while and just hasn't been at the Iron Spirit shows for a while, and apparently his return was really hyped.
Okay, well, I mean, he made a good show tonight, that's for sure. He got to fight Craig Mitchell, so that's something.
Was that a pleasure or displeasure?
Well, a lot of crowd reaction, so, I mean, that was fun. But I'd say the biggest standout for me was the tag team match, 815 versus Technical Difficulties, because one of the members of the 815, so we were right next to it, because where we were sitting, there's like a wheelchair ramp, at least I assume that's what, or it could be like a loading ramp or something.
Yeah, just a ramp of some kind.
Yeah, 2 members from each tag team, one from 815, the other from Technical Difficulties, emerged, like they just appeared, started fighting, and they took
one of the members of 815 lifted him up and smashed him onto the linoleum.
Yeah, and that guy, the guy who got smashed down, just was like crawling on the ground. And the way I heard it, Steven, you heard this, like that just...
You know that when you fall on your grandma's linoleum floor, you just fall straight on your stomach or on your back?
Yeah.
Yeah, that type of meat plap.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of one time when I was a child, how I accidentally landed face first into an electric car of mine, so, like a remote control car that I had. Ooh. It was like a truck or a Hummer, so...
Oh, yeah, that kind of just immediate meat to
like,
inanimate object.
dropping lunch meat on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and,
pretty much.
And boy, he was just limping back. Just, ugh. And we heard some guy that we were sitting next to, come on, get up, man. And he's like, shut up.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, he was crawling on the floor like, right next to us. It's like I almost just leaned over and said, "You good, mate?"
Yeah, I mean, I gave him a shout during the halftime because I was like, "Hey, I know you guys are the villains tonight, but you took a hard hit. You go ice your back, bro. You need it because."
Looking up all the wrestlers of that show, and apparently that guy's name is Gunner Brave.
Gunner Brave. Okay, well, Gunner Brave, you did something pretty impressive tonight. Just you're the villain, but you're proving that wrestling
hit was
is real. So just go home and get in the ice bath quickly.
Yeah.
So you're not limping until
You're a fake wrestling villain, but that hit was very, very real.
Yeah. Steven, what was your favorite?
Well, I've only went twice, so I don't really have a favorite.
You had fun mocking Brubaker tonight.
Yes, I did.
What were you mocking him about?
He said he'd had the match over in 5 minutes, and the match went for 10 minutes. He lied.
He lied to me. He lied to me. So,
And the big headliner match was when we love both of those wrestlers.
yeah. So it was like that. I was telling Hannah, it was like that meme of, I hope both teams just have fun.
Yeah.
That's basically how we felt. CJ ended up winning, so
Yeah, CJ's like the big hometown hero type guy, and
big hometown here. Like
and then-
every kid and grandma goes fucking bananas for him. So
And everyone hates
Brubaker.
because he's a hometown villain.
Yeah.
for the exact same reason, just kind of inverted.
I mean, he's the hometown meth head, so...
Yeah, he looks like a guy that just crawled out of the trailer park and just ended up there.
Yeah, but he's actually a really cool guy. I've
Yeah.
talked to him a couple
Like
times. He's a really
everything
sweet.
on his Instagram is like pictures of him and his family.
Yeah, he's a really cool guy, but he plays his role very well. So they all do, but yeah, who doesn't love a little hometown wrestling to to kick off the weekend? You know?
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about who CJ was fighting. Solomon Tupu.
Oh yeah, who everyone just calls Maui because if you've ever seen the movie Moana, he looks exactly like Maui.
What can I say except you're welcome?
Can't wait for Disney to hear that one.
But yeah, everyone had fun at the wrestling match tonight.
Oh yeah, every time we do this, I have work and I'm always tired. So
Yeah, well, it is what it is. But so yeah, we had fun with that. So tonight, because we don't have any more cons to talk about, and we're not just gonna keep saying, "Oh, predictions for July." No, we're not gonna do that for the next 5 months. So we're just gonna. This podcast is basically just gonna become a hodgepodge of topics that we, whatever we're feeling. Go ahead.
prediction for July, it's gonna be hot.
It's gonna be hot, especially in that fucking tunnel above the hotel. Good God, it's about as well ventilated as a tank.
Your sweats your ventilation. What are you talking about?
What's that?
Your sweats your ventilation. What are you talking about?
What do you mean? Look, I overheat very easily, but that might just be a result of the alcohol. Who knows? So tonight we decided, since we go to anime cons, we might as well
Actually, talk about anime
yeah.
for once.
Yeah. I'm sure to the people who've seen us at cons, who may have seen us just do random weird niche stuff. Some of you might be asking, are you guys even fans of anime? Yes, we are very much fans of anime.
How would we know such a unique shows such as Beyond the Boundary and Dream Eater Mary?
Yeah.
If we didn't know about anime.
If we were in too deep, if we were not in too deep, but yeah, we just kind of want to talk about the shows that we actually like. So you won't hear very much about Beyond the Boundary or Dream Eater Mary, I hope, unless we want to spice up the conversation, I suppose. one of your shows, Jan, you have a show that's under appeal right now, Record of the Lodos War, until we can determine if the show is actually good or not.
Yeah, for context, it's a cult anime from the 90s that's basically Dungeons and Dragons, the anime. Like, we watched it.
We watched the dub.
It had a guy who sounded like he was like from Boston as the thief. Apparently, this show's better than the dub seems, because everything online seems to point that this is like a cult classic. Like, even on Twitter, like, Steven, one of
the people that I follow apparently is a very big sub is his religion, so I believe that Lodos War may be better subbed.
I buy that 100%.
But then again, we don't get discount Whitney Houston singing the intro, so I'm not sure.
That was the funniest shit, because it's like, it feels like they're trying to rip off Miyazaki with that opening, because, we've all seen some Miyazaki films that ended with like a faux Donna Summer.
I mean, Whisper of the Heart had Olivia Newton-John singing Country Roads.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
That just sounds like it's pain.
No, it's actually a good cover, and it actually makes sense in context. Wait, you've seen Whisper of the Heart, haven't you?
I don't remember that part.
That's literally the opening song.
Yeah.
That's what I
And,
I haven't seen that movie.
Pretty much most
now.
of the beginning of the movie is like the main character writing parody lyrics to "Take Me Home, Country Roads"
For like an English assignment, and
in the dub, it's like for an English assignment. In this, that's the sub. In the dub, it's like to write a song appropriate for like the graduation ceremony.
oh yeah,
I've only seen that movie once, and it was a long time ago. So
I guess we kind of have an advantage on you there because we saw it like a month ago, maybe.
Yeah.
Very good film. Very good film. We watched three Ghibli films that weren't made by Miyazaki. Okay, one of them was made by a Miyazaki.
Whisper of the Heart, Cat Returns, and From Up on Poppy Hill.
Which I really loved From Up on Poppy Hill.
Yeah, it's one of those like anime movies that was criminally undersell. Like, people were complaining about
the twist halfway through it. It's like people just completely discredited that movie because of that twist.
So
but
real quick,
it's not that bad.
Real quick, we will be open to some spoilers, but I wanted to throw this like blanket spoiler tag out. We'll probably be spoiling quite a few shows, so if you haven't watched,
if you hear a title of a show in here that you want to watch, maybe just don't skip this part.
Yeah, so just be on the lookout for that. But I'm assuming that you've seen, because we're probably going to be talking about a lot of popular anime anyway, so or anime that you might have no interest in watching anyway, in which case, saddle up and listen to
one show I have on my list to talk about later is a show I'm pretty sure literally nobody has seen.
Yeah, I got a couple of weird ones too. They're good weird ones, not bad weird ones. But yeah, I really love From Up on Poppy Hill. Have you seen it, Steven?
I think it's in my list to watch.
Okay, I'm only asking Steven is because I tend to watch a lot of films with Hannah and Jan while Steven's at work.
Another one that we watched that we really liked was like the Cat Returns. Like,
Cat Returns is gas.
I've seen that one.
Objectively, it's probably the funniest Studio Ghibli movie out there, so...
Yeah, I've heard people say My Neighbors, the Yamadas is a pretty funny one too, but...
do any of you guys have that one on DVD?
I don't. I mean, I've looked for it at Amkey and... I've looked for it at every con, and I have not been able to find it.
I almost never buy anime DVDs because I'm pretty sure either you or Jan are gonna stack up on DVDs.
Me and Jan love collecting just physical media just to have it. Plus, so we don't have to deal with internet difficulties and trying to stream or go to the no sites.
Or have an updated laptop.
Yeah, or deal with any of that stuff. But, yeah, with Cat Returns, that movie is just so off the wall crazy. And Jan said that it kind of reminded him of Princess Bride, which makes sense because Carrie Elways is in it. And yeah, I definitely see that comparison. It's just a very fun movie that is... It's like the Princess Bride if it's just on the gas for like the whole back
cats, or just with cats. Like
Tim Curry is the cat king.
Hey, babe. I just kept saying, hey, babe.
Was it the implication at the end of it though?
Where
she
what
started.
was the gal's name?
I do not remember.
I can't remember either.
She started falling for the
For the Cat Baron.
yeah, and that makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
We could have gone the whole movie without that one line.
she wanted the pussy.
Wait, that doesn't work. That doesn't... This math ain't mathin'. Anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, if we want to start getting into the shows that we like, who would want to go first?
I mean, a lot of mine go back to my childhood, so...
Yeah, I don't
wanted to
really
start-
have a childhood story with anime, so I'll let you guys kind of... Because you guys have been in this
Well,
way
ladies
longer
first.
than me. Yeah, go ahead,
Well,
Anna.
My anime journey starts very early in my life because, so for a little bit of context, my mom was an 80s weeb back in the day when anime was traded between people on VHS tapes. So,
Ooh, Wicked City type stuff.
yeah.
I had the only anime I had on VHS was Yu-Gi-Oh! 4-Kids dub.
Yeah, my mom was a weeb, and then I guess when she got with my dad, then she showed anime to my dad, so both my parents were weebs by the time I was born.
Nice.
And, well, the first anime I can talk about was My Neighbor Totoro was my movie.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I remember my parents had a lot of bootlegged DVDs when I was a kid. Like, there was a big folder, like, full of bootlegged, like, TV shows and animes. Like, TV shows, I remember watching a lot of Pee-wee's Playhouse, and I remember as I have memories of going through my parents' bootlegged DVD folders, and I remember there being, like, Trigun and Cowboy Bebop and stuff in there, but
Nice.
I only wanted to watch really cute things, so I had my little DVD player, and I remember it was always My Neighbor Totoro, and then the Aristocats, and I just watched those back to back.
Wait, they were on like the same disc?
No, different discs, I just swapped them out of the DVD player.
Okay, I understand.
And I also lived, my childhood home was right next to a wooded area, and I'd go in there like every day, like telling my mom I was gonna find Totoro that day,
Aw.
and then I'd come home crying when I couldn't find Totoro, but I'd still go out there every day looking.
I mean, you would have not found Totoro, you would have found the Skinwalker, Hannah, let's be real.
Or you would have found a frat boy puking out a 30 of Natty into the ravine.
You just see the guy just hurled over with the Four Loko can in one of his hands.
Totoro!
I mean, some of
Just
the...
seeing a really fat guy in a gray hoodie in the clearing, hung over in the clearing,
Yeah.
and a
Are
little
you
kid just gonna fall asleep on his stomach.
Bill Belichick. Flashbacks to CAD 21. Are you Totoro, mister? No, I'm an accountant. I just wear this thing as a fucking fashion statement. Like Bad Santa. But yeah, I think we've all seen Totoro, right?
Yeah.
I really like Totoro. It's definitely one of Miyazaki's like quieter movies, but I really appreciate like, you know, kind of the artistry and like it's one of his most wholesome films, and kind of I don't mean to damp the mood any, but it was shown as a double feature with Grave of the Fireflies. So.
No, that's a Whiplash, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I can kind of see it. I mean, Totoro is kind of dark in a way, because I know like the main plot of that is goes like the family only moves to that city because it's closer to the hospital where their mom's at. So probably has cancer or something.
I think it was tuberculosis.
Yeah, it's the same illness that Miyazaki's mother in real life had. It was a spinal tuberculosis. She had that from, let's say, 47 to 1955. So she dealt with it on and off for several years and probably cut her life somewhat short. But that's the disease that the mom is supposed to have. The reason, this is actually interesting, the reason that it was shown as a double feature with Grave of the Fireflies, they showed Grave of the Fireflies first at like the Tokyo.
I hope so you don't go home depressed.
Yeah. Well, that, but also what they wanted to do was they wanted to show Grave of the Fireflies first to show what Japan was like during World War II. It was like a very harsh, almost apocalyptic kind of place. And then you show My Neighbor Totoro, where you see a society that's healing. That is like where people are nice, people are kind, people are like, helping each other out, believing in magic again. That's kind of what they wanted to kind of show that progression. It's a very interesting sort of thing. I watched a video on, I think it was Wisecrack. I saw this video where it was like explaining how the two movies are interconnected. It was a really fascinating watch. But yeah, I really love My Neighbor Totoro. It's not one of my favorite Miyazaki movies, but it's definitely very good.
And there's also that very cringy urban legend, because that
I know
city,
what you're going to talk about.
The city that's the setting of Totoro, it's like in the 60s, which was also like around the time Totoro was supposed to be set in.
Yeah,
there was
50s,
actually
60s.
like two girls like around the same age as the two girls in the show actually were murdered in that area.
Yeah.
So, people think like Totoro's supposed to be like about that.
It's the Rugrats theory of anime. You remember that creepypasta from the early 2010s?
Happier fun fact, I guess, would be Miyazaki was, I think, was doing an interview for like a certain anniversary for Totoro, and one guy said my favorite character was the cat bus, and Miyazaki was like, "Oh, thank you," and it was just silent for like 5 minutes because Miyazaki was not expecting to have the cat bus be anyone's favorite character.
I think that was Kurosawa who said that.
Oh.
Yeah, Akira Kurosawa, one of the great Japanese filmmakers, said, "I really like Cat Bus," and Miyazaki about almost broke into tears because this is a guy straight out of history saying, "Yeah, I really like that Cat Bus. That Cat Bus is tight." It's like, oh my god, thank you.
Yeah. Also, while we're on the topic of Miyazaki, like I hope that sometime there's like DVD like recordings of the My Neighbor Totoro and Spirited Away stage plays that are apparently happening right now.
Those are happening.
Yeah,
this is the
I've
first I'm
heard
hearing of it.
great things about them. So it's like
I would love to see that.
Yeah, I want to see how those translate to the stage.
Yeah, you could probably do a Spirited Away. I could see them doing a Spirited Away stage, but because you could probably, because it's contained enough that you could like feasibly do like 2-3 sets.
Yeah, it's like a Alice in Wonderland play or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a Spider-Man on Broadway.
Oh wait, we can't do that. Thanks a lot, Bono and The Edge. Anyway,
The 3 actors that died.
yeah, that was something else.
Is Spider-Man on Broadway just becoming our new podcast meme?
I think
It's better than all the 9/11 jokes we used to open with.
Yeah.
Oh, first time we mentioned 9/11 in this episode. Ding, ding, ding.
All right, we all got a drink now.
Yeah.
But in any case,
do we still want to just go through my childhood
well,
animes
we could
before
just bounce around. I mean, we've all got, if we run out of stuff to talk about, we can just bounce to someone else, and we'll be super important. I had something.
I did write down a list of.
I did too.
I mean, with Totoro, if we're going to close off the topic of Totoro, here's what I'll have to say. Like, Miyazaki once said that he wants to make movies that children will know how good it is to be alive, and I think, Totoro's not my favorite Miyazaki movie, but I think it's the movie that best illustrates that philosophy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Source, I was a kid.
And you're still here, Hannah.
I'm 11, and this is deep. But
Totoro was like the movie I watched literally all day, every day when I was like, I'd say maybe like probably like 4 at that time.
Oh, so you watched Totoro the way I watched like something like Tremors
or Toy Story or
yeah, movies like that. But so real quick, since we're on the topic of Totoro, I just want you to do this because I always love this back and forth between you two. Hannah, tell us about Ponyo.
I didn't watch it when I was a child, really, but Ponyo was my favorite Studio Ghibli movie because it's just 90 minutes of pure happiness.
I mean, I think we've talked about Ponyo a few times on this show, but
No, I don't think we have. But
Not in
I'm not
depth.
actually doing this to roast you in any way.
Okay.
I'm just saying that it's. I find it interesting that Ponyo is your favorite Ghibli film because I mean I personally like Ponyo a lot. It's just like, you know, I feel like this is like what we were talking about at the Miyazaki panel at Amki. There's like two different types of Ghibli fans. You either go down the track of like the cutesy, like Kiki's Delivery Service, Ponyo, Totoro track, or you go down the Princess Mononoke.
Grave of the Fireflies.
Well, it's not Miyazaki, but kind of down that same.
yeah,
track.
like more the action route and like.
Castle in the Sky.
Yeah, Castle in the Sky,
Yeah,
Nausicaa.
I mean, here's my like history with Ponyo. Like, for the longest time before I met Hannah, I did not care for Ponyo. For me, it insisted upon itself.
Barring that Jan has never explained to me what that exactly means.
It just like, you know, like, oh, like, oh, like like all this weird.
Oh, doesn't explain anything.
Yeah, it's like
Here we go.
it's like it's one of those like, oh, hey, this weird shit happens. Like, oh, like there's nothing. Like, you know, oh, these weird.
Okay, well, what do you think of Ponyo now?
It's fine.
Okay, there.
So, I didn't like Ponyo for one reason, and it was that I saw it when they were showing it on Cartoon Network still.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the dubstep version of one of the songs came on.
That's okay.
And
yeah.
that made me shut off Ponyo, like, mid-movie.
Yeah. I know exactly what song you're talking about. That's not in like the DVD release of Ponyo, but there's this like. This is what I was.
It was on the VHS because I had VHS Ponyo.
Zub.
What's that?
Zub.
Right.
Do you want that speak with your mouthful?
You would have been wrong the whole episode.
What did I say?
You said it's not in any of the DVD releases, but it's in the dub.
Okay. Now, please chew and swallow. Anyway, but basically, all you need to know is that song is dog shit because it is 3 minutes of pure dubstep, late 2000s. I expect T-Pain to have a guest verse on that song.
Dubstepping the voices of 8-year-olds.
Yeah, and here's the thing: that song, when they let it like the original version of that song, when it's just Noah Cyrus and Frankie Jonas on the track, they sound great. They sound really cute, and it's a fun listen, and it's a fun juxtaposition when you're blasting that song for a panel room and you're hung over like you've never been hung over before in your life.
Especially the reason we meme that is because basically the birth name of the podcast that we explained in episode 1, where he's just sitting there with Ponyo blasting, he just wants to go back to sleep.
Yeah.
Probably a good thing I drove that time.
Yeah, because as soon as we dropped Jan off, I was basically out. I was out for the whole drive home, like just kind of waking up every 30 minutes. But yeah, I like Ponyo. You know, like I'm not gonna lie, it's not my favorite Ghibli film, but I really see its merits. You know, it's not like Howl's Moving Castle. But does anyone else want to talk about an anime that like got?
I can talk about my first one.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
So the very first anime that I watched was The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya, and that's probably why I pick all the weird shit.
Wait, how old were you when you watched it?
I think I was about 14.
Was that before we watching things like Pokemon or like?
I mean, I count those as like childhood things you would watch like Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon.
Yeah.
They count as
Yeah,
like
those feel more like cartoons than
Tho-
animes.
yeah, those feel because of how it is in the U.S. They feel more like Saturday morning cartoons.
Alright,
Okay.
fair enough.
Okay.
So
I mean, I wasn't into Pokemon when I was a kid. But
I mean,
I understand your thought process. There.
okay, that's a little bit of a backtrack. The first things I saw were One Piece, and when it was airing like episode 125, when I was like, I don't know, I want to say about that age, 13, 14 area.
Okay.
And then the first series I watched, start to finish, was Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya.
Okay.
And I guess that's probably why I like shows like that, some like more, I guess a little bit more
Weird.
mindfucky type things. So that's probably why I also like Psychopaths and Tokyo Ghoul.
Did you like Serial Experiments, Lane?
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say if
We all love Lane.
we all love, let's all love Lane.
Let's all love Lane. Let's all love Lane.
Let's all love Lane.
Alright.
So, okay, but you know,
I'm gonna show after our Love Month anime showings. I'm showing them that when it becomes my turn again.
real quick, we'll get to Jan's childhood anime, but or like what got him down the path of anime. But my surprise. So real quick, some context. We're watching one of the Studio Key shows right now, Kanan. We've watched the first half of it.
It's okay. So this is actually going to be different. It's actually pronounced Canon because there's actually a show called Kanan, and that show is just basically a worse Record of Lodoss War. So you actually
Wait.
yes.
Wait, how's it spelled?
CANAAN.
NAAN.
Yes.
Oh, I think we've watched it before.
No, I've never even heard of it.
Well,
before.
once on Anime Club, I think we watched. But okay, whatever.
No, it doesn't matter. But yeah. So if you say that first one, I think of that worst D&D show. If you just say Canon, just to
Canon.
Yeah.
Okay, Canon's easier to say, so that's fine by me. So yes, the Studio Key show Canon with
You're welcome.
just think. Yeah, I'm loving it so far. I'd put it about at an A tier right now. Short girl with the backpack with the wings on it. I wonder what those mean. But, you know, knowing Studio Key, it's probably the worst possible option in a good way.
Yeah, I mean the mid-series role was one of the
We already got a major character death, not
Yeah.
even halfway through the show.
episode 10. It's called Requiem, and we were like, oh no,
Yeah.
here it goes, here we go.
Also, when you watch a Studio Key opening, like, you can tell, like, it's like Studio...
Everything is foreshadowing.
Yeah, when you see a Studio Key opening, like, for Canon or Clanad, you're just sitting there like, oh, this is going to be sad.
Now, I'm showing these guys that show because it's been on my list to watch for a while. Like, yeah, it's a romance. And then episode 9 and 10 happen where it just beats your heart like.
Yeah, like, it didn't hit me like a
You
ton
can
of bricks.
pinpoint the exact moment his heart breaks in half.
So, I didn't feel like you did on watch, but as I think about it, it's like, oh, it's so sad. It's really sad. That's
we
the
already did this-
saddest thing I ever heard.
So for people to understand this, and if you do want to watch it, I say go ahead. But spoilers, skip the next probably 15, 30 minute and a half. So one of the characters is named Makoto, not that one. And she is apparently there's some supernatural shit with a certain hill inside this city that we're in.
Where the main character saved a fox when he
Back-
was a kid.
Yeah, when he was a kid visiting.
Bestiality.
No. And so what happens is that since Makoto was the fox that the main character Yuichi saved, she loses the ability to actually speak because she's remembering what she was. And then they go to the hill, do a mock marriage because that's what Makoto wanted before she lost the ability to speak. And then she just vanishes.
It sounds goofy on paper, but you watch it and it actually works. Like,
I mean, you said not that Makoto, but in the end, they both get bye-byed.
That hits different,
Now
man.
you need to shut up.
The couple's the one who needs to go out and just go home.
So wait, what was the announcement?
Tell me
Okay,
back.
so since we've all seen Clanad, and now that we're gonna finish up canon like in a couple of days, I went ahead and bought my own Studio Key show, Air,
Nice.
and I'm gonna show it to you guys as a club pick.
Woo.
Nice.
I don't know when, probably in the next couple of months, because I have plans of shows that I wanted to do before this idea popped in my head. But so far, Canon is making me want to get more into Studio Key, especially because, I feel like a lot of people are, our age, in our age range, especially with more, Jan and Steven's age range. We're probably watched Studio Key growing up, and
Yeah, Studio Key, the anime studio that took the art from visual novels and made them move.
that's the girls with the big bug eyes and
Small mouths.
and no noses.
all those pictures of people drawing anime girl skulls are
Yeah.
probably from Studio Key shows.
Yeah. So that's my announcement. We are adding Air, or I am adding Air to my watch list, and you will be seeing it soon.
Yay.
So
So I'm gonna let's see.
you were talking about Haru Suzumiya.
Yeah, that show. So for anyone who's like, why is that show of any importance? The ending theme, Har
Yukai.
yeah, that one, was a major dance for cosplayers to do anytime that song would come on, which used to be very popular. And so the funny part is, I'd like to say those cosplayers are probably between the ages of Wade and Jan. Hey, think about it. The cringy 15-year-olds you saw back in 2010 probably now have families.
Oh god. Oh, that makes me feel comfortable. Thanks for that one.
No problem.
They're paying taxes now. Anyway, so Jan, why don't you, since we're kind of scrubbing Pokemon and Digimon off the list a little bit, I mean, we could still talk about them, but
Especially that movie that was just the best hits of the 90s.
Oh, that was Digimon.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. Jan, why don't you tell us about some of the anime that got you, hooked into, anime, beyond, trading card games?
Yeah. I mean, this for me, this journey started back in junior year of high school. I think I was just about to get back into anime after a 4-year hiatus. I was going through that phase in middle school that I didn't want anything to do with it, and I associated anime with the smelly kids in the back room, which,
Considering conventions, it's not exactly wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I've met some types, but anyway.
Yeah,
continue.
I started getting back into anime. I started finally finishing shows I watched on Toonami because Toonami was only once a week on Saturday night, so I never finished a lot of niche shows like Yu Yu Hakusho, Rurouni Kenshin. Those were shows I watched all the way through when I was junior year in high school, but I wanted to move on to titles that I haven't seen before, and
Keep going.
I haven't seen before, but I've heard these were masterpieces in their own right, like Studio Ghibli movies, Cowboy Bebop, but the anime that I would say the two anime series, which are the same series but different versions of each other, that I think permanently made me an anime were both Full Metal Alchemist series. The first one I think was is great all around, even though it it doesn't follow the manga completely, and the ending is, well, no comment. Now, Brotherhood, meanwhile, I mean,
I love Brotherhood. I know you talk about both shows, but I love Brotherhood.
Yeah.
Brotherhood is an amazing show.
I will say this, Brotherhood is, I think, in many ways, one of the closest things to a perfect show I could think of. It's philosophical, action-packed, but also can be dramatic. It could be very humorous. The characters are some of the most brilliant ever devised. I loved Brotherhood so much that, quite frankly, it took a very, very long time for me to watch a show that even came close to it. And, that's a show that I've been wanting to rewatch recently. It's no longer on Netflix, unfortunately, but I've been on the lookout for, DVDs or Blu-rays of it, but...
What show?
Brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and... there's another show that both me and Wade are especially passionate about, Berserk, but we'll save that for when.
Yeah, I think Berserk is going to be kind of a big topic. But Steven, you have something you want to add to that?
So if we're talking about shows that we first watched, there was another show that I first watched, part of the big three, Naruto.
Okay.
And that was actually the first anime my dad approved of us watching because of martial arts. My dad was a...
oh, you were a karate kid?
I was a karate kid.
Same.
I never went past the white belt because my dad's dojo got shut down due to the town around it being a bunch of shenanigans.
Okay.
But
I didn't know your dad ran a karate dojo.
Why do you think we have all the karate stuff?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I thought he was a collector.
Well,
I guess he is, technically.
Those,
but anyway.
those trophies downstairs he actually earned.
Well, good for him, but...
I also met Chuck Norris. Anyway.
You and I are going to have a conversation later. Anyway, continue.
So he liked that. He also... Yeah, he really liked Naruto because of the martial arts and the he liked the first series because it was planning. He every anime has their version of magic when it comes to shonen, so the hand sense and stuff he didn't care for, but the actual martial arts, his favorite character was Rock Lee.
Oh, okay.
That was mine as a kid too. I had Naruto on my list of shows to watch because I was a Toonami kid back 2005, 2008 maybe. So from ages 5 to 8 with me, it was two shows I tuned in every week to watch on Toonami were Naruto and Bobobo.
Oh,
yep. And to finish out my little section, my dad was favored more towards cartoons because he grew up in the 70s, American the 70s, more partial cartoons.
Yeah,
and he really liked Avatar,
Oh.
Last Airbender.
Well, who doesn't? But
he didn't care for Korra. But he liked Avatar: The Last Airbender because, again, the martial arts.
We can have a long conversation about that as well. But,
I mean, if we're going to go off on, our parents' relations to our anime addictions, basically, when I was a child, obviously, I was obsessed with Pokemon, and the thing was, my dad didn't completely understand it, but he understood that it was very popular, and he was kind of a stocks junkie, and that convinced him to buy stocks in 4Kids, so...
No, that was a mistake. I thought I ever heard one.
It was the early 2000s. It was before when Belly Under, so I think still at the time it was
it's like investing in mortgages in 2006 or something.
No, 2007. Doesn't make it worse. Or investing in Tesla before Elon bought Twitter.
Oh, yeah. But, so, I'm kind of the odd one out amongst this group to kind of talk about how I got into anime. I don't really have any childhood experience with anime. That was never really on my radar, really. I tended to focus more of my time on playing video games like Halo and Gears of War and stuff like that. Anime came to me later on. I would say I just started to get into it around senior year of high school when actually even before that. The first anime show that I watched front to back when it was all available, because there were shenanigans around this show, was the show Hellsing Ultimate. Nice. That was my first anime that I watched front to back. Still one of my favorites.
As it should.
Not only can you not forget your first, it's easier when your first is absolutely amazing. But I wasn't a full-on anime fan after finishing or even going through Hellsing Ultimate. I was just oh, this is a cool show. and didn't really capitalize on it. And then I kind of got introduced to, different shows here and there. I didn't really pursue any. Like, I saw a bit of Kill la Kill. This is going to be embarrassing. I saw, my friend showed me a bit of Hetalia.
I mean, I kind of do want to watch Hetalia one of these days.
Okay, let me bash Hetalia real quick.
Go for it. I don't. We're going to put that in angst and regret.
Yes, we are.
Right?
Yes, we are. So Hetalia.
Spoilers for July.
Yes, yeah. I hate that show with an unbridled passion, because not because of really of
Go ahead.
what. I'm trying to remember why I hate it. I have such a hatred for it that I can't even put it into words.
I mean, I hate Hetalia because it reminds me too much of middle school. Because when I was a middle schooler, after Toonami went off the air in 2008, I had stopped watching anime, and around when I was in middle school, my family got streaming services. We got Hulu, and that finally got me to watch anime again. So I got into the crowd of weeb girls in my school, and of course they were all like yaoi fangirls, because I guess that's what middle schooler girls are. And yeah, Hetalia was like the one show they were all talking about, so
Yeah.
I watched that, unfortunately, to try to fit in.
Oh, that's right. I hate it because the two were on the docket for our college anime club. We're either watching Love Live or watching Hentalia. And they put a poll up, and Hannah's not going to like this. There were no votes for Love Live.
And Love Live is infinitely better. I will just say that, right?
I remember at ISU Anime Club, like back in 2018, me and my pal Sarah were going to that, even though we both didn't go to ISU. We just lived in town and found out Anime Club was happening and that we could go to that. So, yeah, back at like the first day of Anime Club, they had all of us like pick one show to add to the list, and I picked Love Live because Love Live has been like my hyperfixation since I was 15.
And you will hear more about it in this podcast episode.
Yeah, I have that on
From
my
Here
list.
to Eternity.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
But getting
So, like the one night me and Sarah couldn't go to Anime Club because we went to go see Impractical Jokers live.
Oh, cool.
So,
nice.
and
Yeah, that's way better.
After Anime Club nights would end, they'd always post on their Facebook page what shows they watched that night. Of course,
I did a
the
lot of that.
one night I wasn't there was the night Love Live got picked. Though I could tell it probably was a night that I would have been okay with skipping anyway, because they usually put a number by the titles if they watched more than one episode.
Yeah.
And they did not for that, so I'm guessing it got like no reception from anybody, so I probably would have just died from RSD there anyway.
you would have died because they actually stopped it in the middle of the first episode because no one was paying attention to it.
Yeah, I don't really...
I would have just been sobbing there.
You will be fine. But
I probably would have just never gone to Anime Club again after that.
so going back to my little rant that I'm prepping, I guess, in my head.
Back at a certain point, honestly.
Yeah, I hated that anime club for several reasons, and Hentalia is one of them. Because they actually put a vote. They will put a vote after the first 3 episodes if you... actually, they put a vote after every episode if you want to continue watching. And after the 3rd episode, they say, who wants to watch the rest of the series? This is from what I remember. I stopped.
Fuck those guys.
So then we watched the entirety of Hentalia. And I think we were watching Axis Powers because that's what the president at the time wanted to watch, and that's what we got to watch.
That wasn't me.
No,
Do not look at
no,
me.
I'm not looking. I wasn't looking at you. So and then by the time we went through it, it was just everyone was either just like mimicking the lines because everyone saw it, or they were like me and just wanted to die in the chairs.
Yeah.
It's because it's like the most homophile baiting show in the world.
Oh, sure.
And I don't like it because I don't like it not because of that reason. Have your draws, I don't care. It's just that when you have half the lines being said in the worst Japanese you've ever heard in your life in a chorus in the room, then you want to die.
Okay, so I know we're way off on a tangent, and I'm not disputing anything.
But I'm done, and you can go back to
No,
whatever.
no. I just wanted to finish up real quick. The only reason I even brought up Italia in the first place was because it was one of the first anime shows I was ever, not even watched to completion, just was exposed to.
Yeah, don't watch it to completion.
Well, I ended up doing that, and the thing is, when I watched that, I know what you guys are talking about, like yaoi fangirls and like fujoshis and, you know, stuff like that. That really wasn't... I didn't know any of that vocabulary or any of that lingo. I just watched it with a couple of friends, and we were like, yeah, this... All right, this is funny in points. But in any case, so rolling forward, I'm kind of, you know, getting anime here and there, kind of off the cuff. And then in the summer of 2014, I watched kind of back-to-back Spirited Away and Princess Mononoke. And those absolutely blow my dome apart. And so I watch all the Miyazaki films during July, August of 2014, and I'm telling my friend about it, the friend who knew about anime in high school, who was actually a really close friend, who I'm friends with to this day, and I tell him, yeah, I'm watching these, you know, anime films, and yeah, I'm kind of getting into it, and he was like, boy, do I have a show for you, and I'm like, oh, what is this show? And he's like, it's called Black Lagoon.
Oh.
You had that beast on. I was gonna say if he did the classic bait and switch on you.
Yo, what is it?
Boku no Pico.
BNP.
BNP.
Yeah, BNP.
Which I pulled on one of my friends in high school.
All right, we'll circle back to that when we have a second. But anyway, my friend who knows my taste, because back when we were in high school together, we would always like get together on the weekends and just watch like action movies. We'd watch shit like we'd watch like Pulp Fiction and Con Air and Crank and all these. So he knew my tastes and was like, "Hey, I know you're kind of getting into anime a little bit. I got a show that's gonna hook you for life." And I'm like, "What is this show?" Black Lagoon. And so we watch it. And if you've ever seen Black Lagoon, it's like about this group of criminals who are running around Southeast Asia, like doing jobs for these different mercenary groups, criminal bands, and all that stuff. And yeah, it absolutely hooked me. From then on, I was an anime fan for life, and I'm still an anime fan to this day. I mean, who knows where I'd be if my friend had not shown me Black Lagoon. So I owe a lot to that show. Have any of you guys seen Black Lagoon? Jan, have you seen Black Lagoon?
I've tried to watch it a few times. Like, there are aspects of it that I really like, but I don't really like the main characters, if I'm perfectly honest. So
I think at ISU Anime Club they showed us like at least the first episode of
Yes.
it, and I like the OP song.
yeah,
OP
the OP's a banger. So
Yeah. Well, maybe I
back-
can get you to hook on to it if I show it in clubs sometime.
Yeah,
but,
like-
but that's a 2-weeker. So.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed. I mean, I will say one episode that I just really like to this day, like so much so that, you know, this should have been its own like movie or something. Was the episode with the German U-boat? Like
yeah, that's a good one.
that backstory about like how that German U-boat during World War II sunk in that area. Like that just
Yeah, that was a good one.
And
That was
you
a
know
really
how
good.
I found out about the OP song?
How?
There's so one idol show like I liked for a while ago that
Of course it's an idol show.
I mean it's kind of an idol show where it's called Bandery, where it's like an idol show except they're actually bands, but I mean I'm not into it anymore because most of the story takes place inside a mobile game and I stopped playing the mobile game long ago, so I don't know what's going on with the series anymore, but one fun thing about the mobile game is that they actually have the bands do covers of anime songs, and
So how did you find out about Black
Because-
Lagoon from it?
because they did a cover of the opening song.
Is it any good?
Yeah, it's pretty good though.
Because I really love that
The
song.
funny thing about that is that the band they had to cover that is like probably one of the best bands in the game, but the vocalist cannot do English for the life of her.
Oh,
and
no.
that OP is entirely in English.
Oh.
But, yeah, I didn't even know she said shit until I looked up the lyrics.
It was that bad, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was in English until I looked up a version of the song with the lyrics on screen.
Dear God, that would have made me drink myself into a stupor, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
So-
like, she is a very good vocalist, just anytime there's English, it does not sound like English at all.
Oh, for the crowd, anytime at club that I hear really bad English in an anime, I drink.
Yo, you go full turtle. You crawl up into your shell.
Okay,
Because it hurts. Hurts a
question.
lot.
Question for you, Steven.
What up?
So you drink a lot during like the JoJo Part Stardust Crusaders?
That's funny.
You know,
That is funny.
Yeah. What?
If it had no humor to it, like, what was it? Wade's girlfriend
Oh.
showed us Nero, and that
Narrow
was,
supernatural detective.
and while that show, the voice actor was originally from from the U.S. and
Yeah, he
just
was
did-
an expat.
Yeah, he was an expat that just did occasional lines. It still hurt.
Yeah, that was the first time I ever noticed you having that kind of reaction. And I like Narrow. I think that was a good show.
Nero was a good show.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, Hannah is like to Idol shows and Love Life what Mike Stacklasa is to Star Trek. Like,
Yes, that's a good analogy.
I mean,
that's a compliment. So don't worry.
I mean, I was hoping I could have talked about my shows in chronological order of my life, but I could talk about Love Live if you really want right
Well, okay. Well, we can talk about Love Live in just a second. I just want to wrap up by saying, so Black Lagoon hooks me in the anime, and then from that point on, I just start watching classics, and then I just watch whatever people want to show me or whatever I want to watch. And so yeah, that was the beginning of my anime journey. So Black Lagoon. Thank you very much. So Hannah, tell us about your top show.
I mean, Love Live's probably my top show for being, like, my fixation since I was 15. Well, actually, I first got into Love Live because, around age 15, I started seeing Nico memes, like Nico Nee memes online, and I pretty much watched every show that had a meme attached to it at that age, so I went into Love Live despite the very, very janky CGI in School Idol Project. School Idol Project was the only series that existed of it when I watched it. Despite that, I got very attached to the story, and despite the jank CGI, the music was actually great.
Yeah.
And I wasn't actually expecting to like Nico since she was the meme character. I thought she would have been way too overrated, but yeah. Nico, her character actually resonated the most with me. So.
I wish,
I wish you could see it because I just gave Wade the most devious cringe smile in the world.
He about to pull a devious lick.
So I believe Hannah gave us a tier list that someone generated on Tumblr for Love Live. And for the funds of it, oh my gosh, she's giving me a death stare.
You tracked it so Nico would end up at the bottom of your list.
Now the funny thing is, it actually pissed off everyone because I put Daya above most of the Nijigasaki girls.
Yeah, that was some bullshit. But real quick, since you're talking about memes, I really want to. I wish that I had known you back in 2018 when the hit or miss.
Hit or miss. I guess they never miss.
Yeah. So, no, here's the thing. I thought that was just some random, cheerleader outfit that I had no idea that was related
It was Nico's cheerleader card.
Yeah. I was like, it didn't even cross my mind that she was doing, a specific anime thing. I thought it was just
one point in the dance she does the Nico pose.
I know, and I didn't even notice. It was.
The fun part is the internet is still not clear if that's a guy or a girl.
I'm pretty sure that's a girl.
Yeah, it is a girl.
I've seen sources that say different.
Did you make them the fuck up?
Nope.
Hey, anyway, Hannah. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what do you like about Love Live the most? What draws you to it every time they do a new show? It's oh shit, Love Live's coming out with
I mean,
Everybody strap in.
And I'm always a fan of good music in animes.
Okay.
I mean, this does kind of go back to one show I was planning to talk about earlier. That is earlier on in my weeb journey development.
Okay, you mention that if you want.
I'm sure most people have heard about Fooly Cooly.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen Fooly. I love Fooly Cooly.
Season 2's pretty okay.
Shut up.
Shut your fucking face.
Anyway, back when I was a little kid, long before I ever watched the show, thank God. This was back around my Totoro days when I was like age 4 or something. My family would just play the Fooly Cooly soundtrack in the car as like we'd go out on drives and stuff, and I absolutely loved that soundtrack as a kid. That's probably where a lot of my music taste for these days come from, that. But there was one song in that soundtrack I just wanted my parents to loop all the time. Like, it's probably still my favorite pillow song to this day. It's called Hybrid Rainbow. And if you want to know where that song goes in the anime, it's in episode 2. And that one scene when Naota and Haruko are riding on the moped, and he has that whole like monologue of like, my head is empty. Yeah, that song from that scene. As a little kid, I love that song so much. But
So
anyway, so
you watched it when you were 4?
did you hear anything I said?
No.
No, because I showed him a very, very funny meme.
That explains it. So
No, I'm just.
I'm kidding.
yeah, I did not watch Fully Coolly until
No,
I
you
was
listened
a
to
teenager.
it when you were 4.
Yeah, the
soundtrack.
soundtrack, the pillow soundtrack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Pillows is the band that made all the music for Fully Coolly.
Oh yeah,
So-
and you saw them live once, right?
No,
I thought you.
I really want to, but I never have.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be interesting. I know I meme about Fooly Cooly and Nico being last place a lot.
I don't. I love
lot.
Fooly Cooly. That's a really good show.
Yay!
The first season is the only season that exists.
Yep.
So it's all good.
And it's only four episodes, so you
apparently-
knock it out. Like,
Yeah, it's kind of hard to fuck up 6 episodes, you know?
Apparently they're working on 2 other remakes.
Oh, God.
I have no idea why.
they're both gonna
Yeah.
suck.
Yeah, I think they're both like named after music genres. I know one of them's called Fooly Cooly Grunge, and I forget what the other one's called. But
If there's a new metal one,
Even flow.
if there's a new metal one, I fully expect someone to rip off System of a Down, because that's probably going to be a band no one's heard of in a while.
So I'll say this: I do like the music from Fooly Cooly. Like we were at Anime Zap, and you pointed out this song that was playing.
yeah,
and
there's
I thought,
one song on the Fooly Cooly soundtrack called One Life, and yeah, it was something my brother actually pointed out to me once, that song just sounds exactly like Don't Look Back in Anger by Oasis. Like, you could play both of them back to back and not be able to tell the difference, besides that one of them sung in Japanese.
And Hannah pointed it out to me, and I was listening to it, and I was putting the lyrics in, like hearing the melody. I'm like, Sally can wait. And I'm like, holy shit, is that Oasis? Like, no, that's Fooly Cooly. I'm like, oh fuck. I thought it was like some Japanese cover of Don't Look Back in Anger, but no, the soundtrack Fooly Cooly is awesome. And the only reason I asked you about listening to it when you were 4 is because I thought for sure Fooly Cooly came out in 2007, but did it come out like earlier in
Like
like?
It must have
2000.
come out early. Yeah, it was like
Yeah, it came out, I
early.
think,
And it had to have been like at least 2003, because my family had my family's always had like the DVD box set of it. And
That's the only reason
Jan's
I
been-
ask is because I didn't know that.
2000 and
the same year I was born.
yeah.
Oh, you're as old as Fooly Cooly. How's that feel?
I mean, that makes sense.
Okay.
I mean, it was originally released April. The first episode was released April 26th, 2000.
So you're older than it.
Yeah, by like one month.
There you go. There you go. But, so yeah, you were talking about Love Live because you seem
Yeah.
to be gravitated towards, like, musical...
shows.
Yeah. And who
Yeah.
can blame you?
Yeah, I mean, I've always tried to get into more music shows, because I tried to watch K-On! When I was younger, but, because Hulu was my streaming service at that time, and they only had season 2 of K-On! So,
Remember when Hulu was free?
yeah.
Give me my cane, please.
Yeah, they only had K-On! Season 2, not Season 1, so I watched the first few episodes of it being kind of confused, like they have all their instruments, they're an established band, why aren't they doing music stuff? But it turns out Season 1 was like about them getting the band together, and Season 2 was like, Season 2 is twice the length of Season 1, but it's all like moe shenanigans, so I just got pissed off during it. That like, why aren't they doing music?
Oh, that was some bullshit about a different show, Clanad, how they only had Season 1 of Clanad on Netflix.
Yeah.
And then we basically had to scour the internet to find Clanad After Story. I'm kind of wish we didn't find Clanad After Story because it ripped my soul out and curb stomped it, but...
Yeah.
Imagine watching Clanad and After Story back to back. That's what I did, sober.
That's what we did, basically.
And other music shows I also tried to watch Beck Mongolian Chop Squad before, but
I want to see that show.
There's one scene where the main character accidentally breaks the guitar he got from his music friend because he sets it on top of a bridge, and of course it fucking falls off the bridge, and that just pissed me off so much I rage quit the show.
I mean, that's no joke, a show that's been on my watch list for a while. Cause,
see, I love Kid Yuki covering the songs from it.
Yeah, and yeah, I've listened to the soundtrack before. It's a banging soundtrack, and I want to watch the show, obviously related to it. But, it's just got a long watch list. Which, by the way, you need to show us, or you need to show me and Steven at some point, Kids on the Slope. I think we'd like that show.
Yeah, that's a show I watched Kids on the Slope when I was in high school because I heard it was a jazz band anime, and I was a major jazz band kid in high school. So.
By the way, real quick, before you move on to your next show, every time you say Kids on the Slope, I always think of that 90s comedy group, Kids in the Hall. Oh, God. Like, my brain always just autocorrects it to Kids in the Hall.
Yeah. And also, while I was in my kick where right after I had watched Love Live School Idol Project, but before Sunshine came out, and I was trying to find, like, any idol show to fill the void in my life, I tried to watch Idol Master, which is, like, the Love Live before Love Live existed, but it was super long, and I didn't really care for any of the characters by a few episodes in, so yeah, I didn't really get into. I'll probably try to watch it again sometime.
So I'll say this: before you showed us Love Live, I was not very much a Idol fan. In fact, I was pretty critical of the genre as a whole, probably because a lot of the shows that I watched related to idols back around 2015, 2016 were not very good. They were not cream of the crop.
You watched the Korean versions.
Yeah,
BTS stands, come at me.
Oh boy, we got to deal with them now. Anyway, but when you showed us Love Live, I got it immediately. Like, I understood what the appeal, and I became. Well, I mean, all you have to do is.
We literally have your Hanayo and Ruby Nestles with us right now.
Yeah, it was in like 5 months since you became a fan of Love Live, and you were already shelling out money for Nezzo berries.
It took the least amount of convincing possible to turn me into a fan of I won't say idol shows, but of
Love Live.
Of Love Live, yes. So thank you for that.
I think I'm the only one of the group who hasn't bought Nesses of anything yet.
I haven't actually either.
Yeah, every Nesso he
No. You bought one.
No, I bought them for him. Oh, the one he bought for me.
Yes.
Yeah, for Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah, or me and Jan's first Christmas together, he bought me a Nesso of Yo from Sunshine.
Which, lucky. I wish I had that. I was looking for Love Live Nezzos at Amkey, and some asshole bought a Yo Nezzo.
There were plenty of Umi Nezzos.
Bruh.
Don't hate me because I'm right.
You wouldn't buy an Umi Nezzo if it had an on a hole in it.
Especially not. Dude, do you want to be the guy who wants to carry around that Nezzo with an on a hole in it and just get that judgy stare you get from everyone at the convention? No, you do not.
No.
Also because I don't have a place of my own, and there's no way in hell I'm taking that back to my parents.
Also, would be weird to fucking
use
Umi
it as-
Nesso since Umi's voice actress is married to basically Japan's John Cena.
Yeah, Umi's voice actress is a really, really good singer. Like a really good singer.
Yeah, there's one channel YouTube called Crossing. It's like a new channel for like voice actresses to basically just do cover songs and stuff. And pretty recently, Umi's voice actress Mimori, Suzuko Mimori, was on there, and she did a cover of Secret Base from Anohana, and it is beautiful.
Yes. Despite my mixed opinions on Anohana as a show,
And
I cannot.
mixed opinions on Umi.
Yes, and mixed opinions
Is
on
it
Umi.
really mixed if it's a hatred?
I don't hate Umi.
She's just probably the worst of Muse. And
And by worst I mean like bland.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't even mean
And
bland
that's
as
probably just the anime adaptation's fault for not giving her own episode of character development.
to
They
be fair.
gave her 30 minutes in the movie.
To be fair, there's like, yeah, Umi in the movie is actually pretty good. Like, I actually do like Umi in the movie. But as far as Love Live characters, I don't hate any of, because I've seen, for reference, I've seen School Idol Project, Sunshine,
And Nijigasaki.
and Nijigasaki.
Yeah.
Of those three
Yeah,
shows,
when it's my turn for Anime Club again, I'm showing you guys all Superstar.
which you have mixed opinions on, but I'm still excited to see it. But the only character that I like or that I actively dislike and think is actively bad of those three shows is Ayumu from Nijigasaki, because she's a legitimately toxic person.
Imagine being strapped just to deal with your talent.
Yeah, it's like Ayumu is such a not even crybaby, just kind of manipulative and kind of gaslighting.
Yeah, she,
You know that first-
she
you know
joined the School Idol Club just so one person could pay attention to her.
I know,
Yeah,
this,
the
I know
main
this might be
character.
a bit of a reach for us, but you know that very first college relationship you get into? That's, like you're there for like the first week and a half, and you end up finding the most abusive one. Yeah, it's pretty much that.
Are you talking from experience?
Nope.
So
And
yeah,
it hurts to say.
So, yeah, that's the only character I actively dislike. So anytime I like take shots at characters like Umi or Kanan from Sunshine, or in fact, I could probably take pot shots at quite a few of the characters of Sunshine. Not that, because like the good characters in Sunshine are really, really good, like Ruby and Yoshiko. But then you have characters like Rico, who are about as dull as dishwater.
But how about we shift gears a little bit, and I want to
Sure.
hear some of everyone's anime that not solidified, but like kind of like defined your like if we got our draws in calling it the first season, what defined your second season of seeing some anime?
Like what? Like
What anime did a little bit of a tonal shift for you?
oh, okay.
I mean, if I've known...
Hannah can go first.
I mean, there's only one show I have left on my list that I was planning to talk about, and I feel like if I'm known for watching the really cutesy shows, this one probably does fit under your like kind of left turn from your taste type of thing. So yeah, when I was a teenager, early teenager, just getting back into anime, one of the shows I watched was Samurai 7. Which is apparently an adaptation of an Akira Kurosawa movie called Seven Samurai, and that was when I was 13. That was a show I was absolutely obsessed with, to the point where, like, I was looking online everywhere just to find an active fan base for it anywhere, but that's kind of like how we were after we watched Clanad, where like
Sure.
most of the fandom had like dried up like years before we watched
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Wow, even back then, Seven Samurai's fandom was
Samurai 7?
like Samurai 7's fandom had dried up.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I mean, that came out in like 2005, so.
Okay, then yeah,
and I
probably.
watched it in 2013.
I watched it in 2016.
It's that I went to my very first anime convention was Anime Zap 2014, and Chuck Huber was a guest there, and he
cool.
voiced like a very minor character in Samurai 7, and Samurai 7 was like one of those shows my parents had on DVD, and they had like the booklet of like some of the character art of some of the characters that were in there, and the character he voiced was the Imperial Envoy, which is like a character that kind of exists for like 1 or 2 episodes and gets killed off by the samurai. So,
shout out to Chuck Huber. You follow me on Twitter.
Yeah. So
and you're an all-around cool guy.
Yeah. So I actually found the page that had his character on it, and he autographed it and told me he remembered voicing that character.
Aww.
So
That's awesome.
yeah, which my parents laughed at me for meeting like a big name voice actor and recognizing him for like probably the most minor role of their career.
Well, you must have been over the moon when Greg Ayers started coming to Anime Zap, because he voices one of the 7.
Yeah, he actually voices Heihachi, which was
Right.
the character I actually had a crush on when I was 13.
Oh, well.
Like the first anime boy I ever fell in love with was like this ginger-haired anime samurai guy.
Well, there you go.
Jan, you haven't spoke for a while. Do you have anything to add to this topic?
I mean, as far as anime that kind of had left turn in my tastes, I mean, I've already gone into Full Metal Alchemist. I mean, one that kind of changed how I viewed anime definitely had to be Clanad, because it went from because back then, I felt like if an anime didn't have aesthetic or swordsman or lots of action, I probably wouldn't like it that much. Clanad, when I got into Clanad, I was slowly starting to like Moe, slice of life shows, and Clanad just solidified it. it's one of those shows that when you watch it, you kind of want to be a better person afterwards, because the joys, the tragedies, and the miracles that happen in that show.
So, kind of dovetailing off of what he was talking about, because me and Jan have similar tastes in terms of anime. We like a lot of kind of darker, more, not mean-spirited stuff, but more adventurous type stuff, kind of Berserk, Code Geass, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, that kind of stuff. I would say, because Clanad is one of my favorite shows, and it is very different from that kind of grim fantasy world. I will say that Clanad was not my first foray into that type of anime show. My first foray into that, where it really opened my eyes as to the genre of really tragic but still beautiful excuse me, anime, was Your Lie in April.
Oh, Jesus.
I watched Your Lie in April during the summer of 2016. It destroyed me twice, because if you remember, the first half of the series is Kosei dealing with his mom, and then the second half of the show is him dealing with Kaori or Corey, or
you can tell us in the comments below.
Yeah, please do, because I watched that show. It destroyed me twice, like I said, and but it also made me realize that there's a whole other world of anime that I just wasn't tapping into, and this was early on in my journey into anime. So all the stuff I was watching up to that point had been stuff like Berserk. I had watched Attack on Titan, Full Metal Alchemist. I even watched Tokyo Ghoul. Hey, you've been sniping at us all night, so we're gonna snipe at you a little bit.
I mean, it's fair.
But in any case, so yeah, Your Lie in April, because the reason I say whole other world is because you will see Your Lie in April on there'll be these memes of when your friend gets into anime and you want to suggest him stuff, and it's a devious smile, and it's there's all these different sort of faded shows, and it's you'll see Clanad and Anohana and Your Lie in April and A Silent Voice. The thing is, a lot of those shows and movies are things that I have watched now. Like, I'm not saying that it's hard to call it a favorite genre because of how emotionally taxing it can be, but I have watched like a lion's share of that kind of material, and it is very good. Like, every time I watch something like Violet Evergarden or Clanad or Maquia,
Even canon so far.
and Canon so far, I always think back to Your Lie in April because it's where that started. Even though I watched Anohana before Your Lie in April, Anohana I don't really credit with getting me. I guess I credit Anohana with making me watch Your Lie in April, but I don't really credit it with like getting me down that pathway. Anohana, just, I don't hate Anohana because, like, some of you who come to our panels may have seen it on our Angst and Regret.
Baby's first heartbreak anime.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't hate it per se, but it is, it's a show that I think is kind of manipulative, where Your Lie in April I think is far more natural. I think you've seen it, right, Steven?
Yeah, I've seen Your Lie in April, and I have been emotionally fucking scarred. Much like So I watched Clanad when I was probably about 18. I did not come out of my room for a week during the summer.
Oh, wow.
It did concern my parents. But then I told them I watched a really, really sad and sappy show, and they're like, oh, okay, we understand. But for me, since I'm more a part of the psychological horror stuff, if you can call Haruhi Suzumiya a psychological horror, my first direction isn't really with like the stuff of Your Lie in April, Your Name, and then shows like that, even though that was a very big departure from what I watched. But my very big departure is actually watching Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z for the first time.
Really?
Yeah, because like Haruhi Suzumiya, I mean, I guess okay, there is some action in it, but not really, because it's supposed to be more of like watch the sleeping god lie is the premise of that show.
So you kind of went the opposite way that the rest of us did. That we
Yeah.
kind of started. Well, I guess with me and Jan, we started more like adventure, like action shows, and then we drifted into kind of more quieter character-driven stuff. You started with more quieter character-driven stuff, and then moved into the more bombastic sort of action stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. Which also probably shits my opinion of My Hero right now, but we'll get back into that.
Okay.
But however, I was watching Dragon Ball being the comedy anime that it was, because it's actually mainly classed as a comedy action more than action. And then moving to Dragon Ball, which is basically just Star Wars, as Star Wars kind of picked up after like episode 5.
Isn't it based off of like an old like Japanese legend or something?
well, like-
Sun Wukong, yeah, kind of.
Yeah, like it's
okay.
That's where Dragon Ball got most of its stuff from.
What were you saying, Jan?
Yeah, like Dragon Ball was originally supposed to be like a comedy martial arts manga based on Journey to the West, but then the martial arts kind of overtook the search for the Dragon Balls, and then the Saiyans arrived, which that just
That was the fun fact about the Hercule Satan in that show was he was basically ripped off of Hulk Hogan,
Nice.
because Dragon Ball came out. The Cell Saga was in the 90s though, so I'm not sure where in wrestling it kind of matched up. It may have matched up with Hogan's heyday.
yeah.
But yeah, he was based on the Hulkster.
Nice.
So that's nice to see.
Who doesn't love the Hulkster, brother?
But for me, going into Dragon Ball for the first time, it still had the character development, like Gohan being Gohan in the Cell Saga.
Mm-hmm.
Take an 11-year-old kid who's never turned Super Saiyan before, then turn him into an ultimate weapon of mass destruction. Sure. I guess it also kind of informed me, because I used to have a bunch of Dragon Ball video games as a kid on the PS2. So then I actually watched the show, I'm like, oh, that's how that happened. Because I had Budokai 3.
Oh, that's a classic.
I also had Budokai Tenkaichi,
Oh,
which was actually my favorite fighting game for a while.
Okay.
And here I am being a racing video game nerd, but that's a different topic for a different day. However, yeah, jumping onto the bombastic, which I guess I'll tie it around to my hero right now, which was I was going to spring these topic on these guys here.
I mean, you probably won't get a lot from me because I'm not caught up with.
It's fine. I'm going to spoil a little bit for you.
I don't really have any interest in
Is it the
Cool.
If you spoil Demon Slayer, I'll kill you where you stand. But Hero Aka, I don't give a fuck.
The question was going to be, of the popular anime that's out so far, which one is your favorite and why? Mine is My Hero because Deku goes from a kid who has very hopes and dreams down to a man whose smile and optimism gets erased.
Okay.
I like those type of character falls because of the psychological anime that I watched.
So what are we choosing between Hero Aka and...
No, I'm not like any popular anime that's out right now.
So I'll say right now, so I have a best show and a favorite show right now. My best show right now is definitely Attack on Titan. I think Attack on Titan is the best show.
Season 4, Part 3 is coming out pretty soon, I believe.
Yeah.
Which is really just Season 6.
And I like it because of what you just said about Deku. Eren goes through a similar kind of smile and optimism gone, but Eren is also, not only is his smile and optimism gone, he is just like hell-bent on destroying everything and everyone in his path.
Yana and I have read the manga. No, we're not going to spoil it for the other two because I feel like that would be disrespectful. But as it's so far, because I believe the show left off on the beginning of the rumbling.
Yeah.
And that epic scene at the very end of the
That
current
scene
season
gives me chills every time I see it. Like when all the Titans coming out of the water, and like the Marleyan soldiers are firing. It reminds me. Did you ever watch War of the Worlds?
Yes.
Do you remember that scene where all the tanks are on the hill and they're shooting at the tribe?
And then they just stop.
What?
Well, in Attack on Titan, they just stop. They're like, oh, fuck this.
Well, yeah, it reminded me of that, where it's just this hopeless feeling of like they're just going to get, and, they get wiped out. And so I like that about the show, but this is kind of my own personal thing. So that's the serious part, but the kind of funny part of it is that I love that even though the world as they know it is ending, Levi is still on his, man, I'm going to get that fucker Zeke. I don't give a shit if the world's ending. I'm getting that fucker Zeke.
You may have taken my finger. You're caught up to it completely, right? So you know that
show.
Yeah, the show. So you know that Levi doesn't have two of his fingers anymore.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I know.
I may not have two fingers, but I may not have two fingers on my right hand, but I still have a left hand.
Yeah, he's just like, look, I don't give a fuck if the seventh seal has been broken. You gonna catch these hands. These hands are your seventh seal, bitch.
Yeah, so I guess I'll take off of weights and say best and favorite. My best would be...
Oh, real quick, favorite. My favorite right now is Demon Slayer. Yes, I love Demon Slayer.
Yeah, I understand Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer would probably... I don't know where to put that, so I'm going to shove it for a little bit. My favorite so far would have to be My Hero Academia, just because of what I said about Deku earlier.
Do you think it's the best?
The manga shows it a lot better.
That's a common theme I've heard.
It is a very common theme because, anime and they have to kind of condense things down, but...
So what do you think is the best
best? Now? Ooh, I'm going to actually say Bleach.
Bleach?
Yes, because the 1,000-Year War arc is out now.
Oh.
And,
Here, can we let...
Kino. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, like, a few things. One... Outside of the 20 episodes I watched of Bleach way back when, I know meh about Bleach, except another thing about it, that Iwatch is a beast, is like one of the best anime manga villains ever created. Like, is that how you say his name? Iwatch or Iwatch, like the...
Yawach?
Yeah.
Yeah, boy, that's a Yugoslavian name.
Well, it's supposed to be a pun on Yehovah, so...
Oh.
Yeah, and it's also, if I remember Bleach correctly, the guy was very obsessed with, like, Eastern European names, and, I think, not Polish, but Czech names.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, and also like,
Anyone in the comments can remind me down below.
and I think it was also German names, but anyways, we've talked about Demon
Well, that's
Slayer.
why the swastika's there.
Oh, nice.
Well, we talked about Demon Slayer. We talked about My Hero Academia. We talked about Attack on Titan. All shows currently airing, which I really like, even though I haven't been caught up on My Hero Academia, which one of these days get back on that track. But one show that's currently airing that has become something of a new favorite of mine has got to be, like, forgive me for my basic opinions, but definitely Spy Family. Like,
No, that's a good show. It's a really good show.
yeah,
Love
like
it.
Spy Family has like everything I like in a show. I like Lloyd as a main character. I like,
Lloyd is the best dad.
yeah, Yours the best mom. Anya's the best adopted daughter. Even I like even Damien, the little shit he is. Like,
So I will say, if we're still talking recent anime,
Correct.
one anime that's come out, we'll say in the past 5 years or so.
Yeah, because you know.
Because it's still it was still.
Well, then again,
ongoing.
Attack on Titan's been out for 10 years.
Yeah, but
Get your cans, everyone.
one that I think all of us can agree on, Violet Evergarden.
oh, I wanted.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, so this is I'm gonna keep this
Well,
restricted.
I need to go take a break anyway, so they can talk about it.
Okay,
I mean, well,
hey, could you grab us some cans out of the fridge?
I mean, we'll still probably keep it restricted because, editing and all that.
Yeah,
but
yeah. So, Hannah, you haven't said anything in a while. Do you got anything to say about? I mean, you like Violet Evergarden, right?
Yep, I loved it and loved the movies.
Mm-hmm. How did Jan show it to you, like on one of your first dates or something?
Not one of our first dates. I forget whether he showed it to me first or if I saw it at Anime Club first.
but we watched the whole series together, like,
Nice.
as one of the first things we did together, which Wade and I have, like, our own experience watching Violet Evergarden.
Yes. So for reference, I've seen the show. I've seen the OVA. There's 2 movies, right? Or there are 2 OVAs.
Two movies, 2 OVAs, or 1 OVA.
Yeah, I've seen all that stuff. The OVA was kind of forgettable, not gonna lie. But
The one with the opera, right?
yeah. I liked it, but it, in the grand scope. But anyway,
Fair.
so it was kind of unofficially the first time we ever did an anime club of our own. Because we watched Violet Evergarden. Jan he was coming down here to stay with me for a little bit before as he was getting registered into college and everything. He was like, I've watched a few episodes of this show called Violet Evergarden, and it's like, oh shit, we should watch it. It's only 13 episodes. We can knock it out in an afternoon. We'll get some pizza. By the end of it, we're sobbing because of how brutal. If you know episode 10, you know exactly what I'm talking about and how brutal that episode is.
Call your mom after watching episode 10, or both your parents, maybe.
Yeah, it is a harsh episode to get through. But yeah, I would say, because now it's wrapped with the movie, I can't imagine with the second movie. I can't imagine how they would.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way they can continue it.
Yeah, I think it's at a good ending.
Yeah.
It's at a good ending, even though I really love the character of Violet Evergarden, and I'd watched so many adventures with her because she's such a lovely, good-natured, kind.
I'll let you say, but the thing with Violet for me is that I've described anime girls as hot or cute in the past. Violet is the first anime girl I just describe as beautiful, like.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, just what I was gonna say about, like, kind of what Wade was saying earlier, that probably one of the best ways to go about an anime is just knowing how to end it, so we don't have, like, fully coolly just a shit ton of unnecessary sequels.
Mm-hmm.
Anything like the Violet Evergarden movie, just ended it on the perfect note. Like, even though I love Violet Evergarden so much, I don't think any sequels for it after the movie are necessary at all.
Yeah.
Wait.
So, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, you can finish.
Oh, I was just saying. So those movies and the show came out between 2018 and 2020. So that's why I say it's like a modern show, but obviously the idea of continuation at this point is kind of like basically impossible. So, but I will say that Violet Evergarden is a beautiful show. You should watch it. It's probably like one of the best series I've ever seen. So you just go watch it if you get a chance.
Not so fun fact about Violet the second finale movie. It was most likely one of the last things that KyoAni worked on before that tragic fire. So what you watched there was the final work of many unfortunate victims of that whole tragedy. And
the fun part about that was it was caused by a weeb who was very, very angry about a show that ended like a decade and a half ago.
Yeah, imagine.
Yeah, apparently motivations. Apparently, KyoAni does like a thing where it's like you can send in like your like light novel you're working on for like a contest, and if it wins, like it might become an anime. And apparently, like the guy says he submitted stuff for that contest and thought one scene in a show called Tsurune kind of seemed like something he wrote, that he thought they plagiarized that, but it turns out that's apparently like I think Tsurune is a show like about a boys archery club, and apparently the scene that he thought they ripped off was like probably one of the most like cliche anime scenes ever.
Wait, what was the show called?
Tsurune.
I've never heard of it.
Japanese copyright's also very fucking weird, and so he might have been used to those laws, and you were like, what?
I mean, I don't know if the guy was joking or not, but considering this was 4chan, most likely joking. There's this one post, OP, that said that studio violated the NAP, so the arsonist was justified, which...
Well, yeah, it's 4chan, it's more than likely a troll.
Yeah.
4chan doesn't take anything seriously, so...
So I had one, I mean, I know I kind of hijacked this with what my kind of ideas for topics I've been talking about, but I'm pretty sure we've hit most of our bullet points that we scripted out anyway. What was the one show? I mean, I'm not sure if Hannah really talks about her kind of like.
What were we even talking about?
Oh, your departure from like I know.
I think I heard these guys talk about like what modern shows we like.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Modern shows. And the other one was like a departure from your normal watching stuff. And
Well,
you
I
said
think Samurai 7 was mine.
Yeah, that was yours. Did you have a modern one that you liked?
Like, how far modern do we want to say?
Past 5 years?
Yeah, past 5 to 6 years, I guess. If you haven't watched any, you can just say no comment.
I mean, I know I have. I just want to think of one. I'd probably say Golden Kamui.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is some good shit.
Yeah, that's about 4 seasons are out now, but I haven't seen season 4 really yet. But yeah,
as someone who has, it's kind of mid.
Yeah, I've heard people say season 4 kind of fell off animation quality. But
quality-wise, maybe some script-wise, but yeah.
Yeah, and Golden Kamui's kind of a fun show and probably also is like another departure for me, and like if you think I'm known for like the cute stuff, because Golden Kamui's like a Japanese Western, or an Eastern Western as I want to call it, where a veteran of the Russo-Japanese War teams up with a girl from an Ainu tribe, because like her father's an Ainu prisoner in Abashiri prison. It's like tattooed a map that leads to gold on the backs of other prisoners he was with, so they pretty much
40 of those guys, I think.
Yeah, so they have to track down all of these escaped prisoners and basically kill them and skin them to get the map.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's also really good because the only way, I mean, a little bit slight spoiler, I guess. The only way you can really skin the guys is if you were an Ainu and knew how to skin animals in a certain way.
Okay. Oh, that's kind of cool.
And Also, another fun thing about this show, it's probably something I love because I'm a JoJo fan too, is like some scenes in the show make me wonder who is the target audience for the show? Because, the show has like lots of fun historical facts that are more up Jan and Wade's alley, but also a ton of like very homoerotic scenes, which seem like they were like made for like yaoi fans, but
Yeah,
that just
especially
like,
the salmon scene.
yeah. Ian Sinclair was actually at Anime Magic, where he voices Sugimoto, the main character, and like eventually at one point at his panel I asked him, it's like, so like what scenes do you remember voicing from Golden Kamuy? Like what scenes stand out to you? It's like, oh, that seals where they eat the seal meat in the bathhouse.
For some context for people who
It's like they
maybe
get the seal meat, and then like later they like the guy says that the seal meat is apparently an aphrodisiac in there.
Yeah. So yeah, for some context, apparently in Ainu, what was said in Ainu culture for the show, which maybe some liberties are taken, maybe. I don't know.
I don't think any of us are experts on Ainu culture.
The only
anyway,
only one who knows any native culture is me, and that's because my family was a native Apache. The best way that they say is that if you heat up seal meat and just let it just simmer, it becomes an aphrodisiac. And all the guys were in the sauna where the seal meat was being cooked. So yeah,
Things get very weird very quickly.
Things get very homoerotic.
Things get very weird very quickly is probably like the motto of Golden Kamuy.
Yeah, there is like you'll go from one action scene where they're being shot at by a sniper to the gayest scene you've ever seen in your life.
I remember like one of the first scenes in season 4 from like I've only seen like the first like 2 episodes of season 4, but there's one scene where they're getting shot at by a sniper, and one guy's like, "Hey, hand me a mirror, hand me a mirror." So they hand the mirror to him, and then he just stops and checks his eyebrows.
Oh yeah, there's another scene in season.
Okay, that's kind of funny.
There's another scene in season 4 where there's this recurring character, English voiced by Chris Sabat, who's very obsessed with laying with prostitutes.
Oh, it's
Heavily
Ushiyama.
ironic.
Is it Ushiyama?
Yeah.
So,
But
how far are we in this?
hour 45.
Oh, okay, cool. We could probably push it to 2 hours. Then.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a lot to edit later.
Yeah. But but no. As I said, very ironic for Chris Sabat. Come and get me if you know what you're talking about. He just starts talking about. I guess he gets like knocked out or something, or put under poison.
Poison.
Yeah, recovering from poison, and he just calls himself the Booby Monster, which was very, very funny.
Oh, because I watched the sub, and like the kid was calling it. Because apparently he says "pussy" in Japanese, so the subtitles, at least the subtitles I watched, were like the kid like saying, "Yeah, the pussy monster."
They call it the Booby Monster in dub. So.
Nice.
But yeah, let's go back to the last question I had, which was like kind of like the mixture of your departure in original anime, because we all know they all kind of converge at one point.
Okay. I don't know if this exactly counts because I know I've been mainly talking about adventure anime, but I'm also a big fan of like psychological stuff, kind of like kind of like you are. I'm a big fan of stuff like Death Note and Monster and anime.
Monster is a fantastic show. Go watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think...
Well, hold on. So Monster isn't the show that I'm talking about. I'm just saying watch it because it is really good. I know it's 75 episodes. Trust me, they're worth the 75 episodes.
It's now on Netflix, so you have no excuse now.
There you go.
No, it's 75.
Okay.
It's only 70.
Only 75.
93, I think that's...
Come from the guy who watched all of Dragon Ball so far and sat through 300 odds within episodes. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, you'll be alright. But, so a kind of combination, let's say between darker kind of shows and lighter, more material. I'm not going to give any spoilers because this is on my list and I want you to watch this show, Steven, with us for Club. Steins Gate.
I started that a few times, but never really got past episode 2.
I mean, when you eventually show Steven Steins Gate, that's going to be my 5th time watching it.
Yeah, and it'll be probably my 4th or 5th.
Oh, okay. Slight confession about when we watched Steins Gate together, Wade.
What?
I liked the show. Don't get me wrong. I really did like it, but there was actually a couple episodes I fell asleep while we were watching them.
Oh, speaking of Steins Gate,
You and I are going to have a conversation later that you won't enjoy. Anyway.
Speaking of Steins Gate, if anyone here watches the Anime Boomers podcast, one, I highly suggest it.
Is that Gators podcast?
Yes, it is. The Gator Gamer was also very much compared to the more rotund scientist in the
Oh,
room.
Daru.
Yeah, Daru, because he basically had to. I'm gonna say it. We're nearly 2 hours into it. He had to tard wrangle the other guy. I know that's offensive. I apologize, but it's the best way I can put it. Being from the old internet, he had to tard wrangle the other guy who was doing a bunch of things, kind of like he was doing with a certain other podcaster from the Kill Stream.
Let's not go down this
I
rabbit
apologize if you watched the last episode. I am very, very sorry. But he was kind of akin to that. That was also Daru was also his favorite character from the series. So,
Oh, okay.
so
I was wondering where this was going, but okay,
the
way you describe it, that actually makes sense.
Also, thankfully, you're wrong. Steins Gate is good.
Yeah, he hasn't even seen it all the way through yet.
Yeah. No, actually, my story with Steins Gate is that I watched it when I was like around 13, back when I was talking about my Hulu shows. Like I was like 13 or 14 at this time, and I heard people say that Steins Gate was like one of the best shows of all time. So I watched it. It blew my mind. So I showed it to my mom and my brother. They loved it. Then they showed it to my dad. So that was my 3rd time watching it. And then like years later, you picked it for Anime Club. So that was my 4th time watching it then. And like a little bit after, like the 4th time it was like a little bit before, a little bit after that, then they released an anime adaptation of Steins Gate Zero, which is like
It's a prequel series, isn't it?
not a prequel, like an alternate universe of like if the second to last episode didn't work out as planned. So yeah, so
I heard
it was
people
like
talk
an
about
alternate universe, and like it was okay, but just kind of sucked as an anime adaptation because like they establish like plot points that would have been relevant in the visual novel, like if you had like kept going down that route. But it's like they basically just set up plot points and then never
capitalize.
Yeah, they never finish them off. Like it's like if Clannad just like set up the other girls' routes and then it's like, no, fuck it, we're just gonna do Nagisa forever.
Yeah, it's actually like I like that you brought that up, Hannah, because I was talking to her last night that we're only 12 episodes deep into canon, so like the jury's still out on this. But I get the feeling the reason why Clannad is much more highly regarded than canon is because
No, you said it right the first time. Canon
was because canon feels like it's speed running through every route of the visual novel, while the Clannad anime just primarily focused on Nagisa.
Yeah, it's
Well,
like
at least it's not
I could see that.
Yeah, they do the other girls' routes, but not the romance of them. So it's like you get like their entire story, just not the romance for the other girls. So it feels complete.
It does kind of make me interested in what those other girls' roots were.
Again, in canon, we'll get to that. We'll get you an official review by the next episode.
Yeah, I have a feeling canon could be S tier, just depending on how the ending goes.
And wait, you did kind of get a bit of a taste of those other routes through those other world OVAs that were played at the end.
Which
fuck Kyo.
Kyo?
The long-haired, purple-haired girl, because or the two twins. Okay, Kyo's route. It's like it starts with Tomoya gets with Ryo, which is her twin sister.
You're right.
And then it's like, then Tomoya and Kyo, the other sister, meet up, and then Tomoya decides like, practice for Ryo on Kyo. Yeah, that's literally how the route goes. Or like, then he decides like, oh fuck this, I want to be with Kyo instead.
Damn, Kyo Kyo got that Gok
Yeah,
Gok 3000.
She literally
bro.
cucked her own sister.
I mean,
Yeah, if you do Kyo's route, you become a cuck. You cuck a girl's sister.
I mean, it.
Oh,
Jesus!
little spill there.
Oh, never mind. But you know, in that route, Kyo and Ryo are not just twin sisters; they're Eskimo sisters.
You right. Okay.
Y'all told me more about Clannad than I originally needed to know.
No, here's the thing. Here's the thing about those Clannad, where they show like the alternate routes. They happen like they put like one or two right after the end of Clannad After Story. Like it's like you watch the last
the worst whiplash we ever had.
the last episode of Clannad After Story, which I feel comfortable telling. Obviously, I've watched it with two of you, and I know you know what happens next. It's where basically everything ends horribly, but then gets reset.
Because Tomoyo was so good that he gets one miracle after his death. So
yeah, and
then he gets.
Oh, was that the point where he actually just killed himself in kind of one of the OVAs?
Yeah, it's
No,
I think it's kind
no.
of implied that like after Ushio like died in the cold, he just stayed out there and with her and just froze to death.
Oh.
No. Remember, it reset itself.
It after his death. That's what they're implying. That after both of them died. Then...
Yeah, that he gets like his big second chance. So after that episode of unbelievable sadness, we go into this goofy madcap shit with
oh god, I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah, with Kyo.
Oh god.
And like, there's literally a moment where a fucking like pan drops off. Do you remember this? It was like the gate of the school. Like this like metal pan drops off the top of the gate of the school, hits Nagisa in the head, and it literally looks like a Three Stooges sketch.
No, I think you're combining the two. That's a separate OVA, but
okay. Well, it happened after the fucking
but that OVA was the prequel to the
yeah, but why did I have to watch it right after fucking watching Ushio die, huh?
Yeah, why do I have to watch this slapstick comedy after I got my heart torn out?
Yeah, it would be like if you watched... It's like you finish Schindler's List and you decide to watch, like, I don't know,
Three
Abbott
Stooges.
and Costello or something. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you watch Schindler's List and go, hey, you know what? Let's watch Monty Python.
And don't forget about the moment where, what was Nagisa's dad's name again?
Akio.
Akio just did the whole quagmire.
He unhinged it, filled it full of Sanai's buns. Pun kind of intended.
Yeah.
It both taste like shit!
And both Sanai's buns and her other buns.
Yeah.
The banana bread that literally has a full unpeeled
through.
banana just shoved through a loaf of bread.
Actually, you want
We're
to...
gonna recreate that one of these days.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Actually, you want to know what was a shitposty theory I read online about Clannad?
What?
That the reason why both Nagisa and Ushio died was their unknown illness originated from Sanai's bread.
Oh yeah, you showed me. That was pretty funny, but it was
adding a little bit of radium to taste.
yeah. Hey, I've seen The Sixth Sense. I know how this goes, but
I see dead people.
yeah.
Speaking of which, the kid from that show goes on to be a very good voice actor for Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, Haley Joel Osment.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, and he still voices Kingdom Hearts.
Yes, he does. He will voice Sora until the day he dies, is what he said in an interview.
And he's made kind of a comeback, like he's been in some shows on Netflix and whatnot. Haley Joel Osment. What? What the fuck is so funny?
I mean, the girl that voices Chihiro in Spirited Away, who also voiced Lilo in Lilo and Stitch, also voiced the girl from The Ring.
Oh yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's also one, the voice of Riku, who I am forgetting off the life of me. He had
look at me.
He had one Disney special before he got slotted to the Disney video game line. So
I guess that was the end of that chat then.
Actually,
he did a really good Riku though.
Okay, well, good.
I am going to
Yeah.
show Hannah and Jan Kingdom Hearts, though. It'll
Yeah,
be funny.
Yeah. Also, because we only have 10 minutes to do this, you forgot something. Your boy's birthday is today.
Oh,
Oh,
right.
shit.
So real quick, so yeah, I think anime is going to be a good running topic to talk about because we literally.
And we'll get back to the question at hand after our very deep dive into the weeds.
Yeah, but it was a fun dive into the weeds, was it not?
Yes, it was, but go on.
So real quick, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear
Christian Weston
Christian.
Weston Chandler.
Happy
birthday to you. I hope you rot in hell.
Also, happy first anniversary to the Ukraine war.
Yay!
Actually, we can't even call this the cringiest, birthday song rendition of Happy Birthday ever, considering Breaking Bad exists.
Oh, yeah, that's even worse. But yes,
Yeah.
the original namesake of our group, Christian and the Hedgehog Boys, recently had his 41st birthday in jail. So,
Good Lord, he's 41.
happy birthday in the big house, bud.
I really hope.
Don't drop the soap.
No. He's separated from Gem Pop, as far as I know.
Well, there you
I
go.
really hope that Valentine's Day was kind to you, because I completely forgot to check in, and now that Virginia kind of sealed everything away, I don't know what the fuck happened.
Yeah, there hasn't been a lot of updates lately.
Well, I
as to
guess we'll
Christian.
check Kiwi Farms. I'm not sure. Maybe one of those retailers
I
got
checked
it.
Kiwi Farms today. I didn't see shit. So
Man, maybe they really sealed it.
yeah, I think it's kind of done for
Well,
the time being.
Until we hear something else, but yeah. Right now the Kiwi Farms is dealing with other things. However, we're gonna go back to the question, which was what anime was your conversion point of your breakaway and your original stuff? Dion, do you have an answer to that one?
I mean, we already did that, with, I don't know, mine, I already talked about Clan Ed and everything.
What I was talking about was you had your departure point, which was Clan Ed, and then your original stuff was shit, I don't know what it was. But what was did you have an anime that converged the two?
Oh,
If you don't, that's perfectly fine.
I mean, it's worth... it's kind of funny, this kind of, this... In hindsight, this does converge the two. I probably should wait for Wade to talk touch on this a bit. Berserk, in hindsight, is a convergence of, high-octane action and more emotional storytelling.
No, I've seen Berserk.
Yeah.
I can bounce off a little bit. Yeah, I guess I can say that too, but that was really still towards more me watching Dragon Ball for the first time than really more of anything else. Hannah, did you have a anime that did a conversion point for you from your departure and your usual stuff? If not, that's fine. But
Can't really think of anything.
yeah,
And I'm 3 drinks in, so
lightweight.
my brain isn't working.
So I guess Jan kind of touched on Berserk, but before we go on to that entire minefield, even though we're 2 hours in already, my conversion point, actually I have two. I have 2 conversion points of psychological stuff and really, I guess, more slice of life, really, and shonen, which is what my other thing kind of jumped to, kind of mindful. Mindful conflict versus mindless conflict, which is what I call shonen. My 2 shows were Fairy Tail and Blue Exorcist. Fairy Tail was still more on the mindless side because that was more of a happy-go-lucky show about, which I guess I can throw in my bait and switch panel that I plan to release this summer. Speaking of predictions, because that show went from happy-go-lucky action adventure to holy shit, there's a time god.
What show are you talking about?
Fairy Tail.
Oh, okay.
Where they
I haven't watched it all the way through, but
a lot of spoiler. One of the main villain becomes a time god, but is defeated within the same episode.
oh, you can spoil Fairy Tale.
Okay,
because we had some aspects of it explained to us during one of our
Yes,
Christianity panels.
That was me.
Oh, that was you. But
Uh,
someone else asked in the
Yes.
crowd about it. So
Yes. Zeroth, the main bad in the final act, second to final act, I guess. Basically became the god of time. Tried to go back in time before he got afflicted with the curse and stop it. Then Nasu just beats him with the power of friendship and firepower. Yeah, that's fairy tale. Power of friendship.exe. Still a good show. That was more of me going towards mindless stuff. But Blue Exorcist for me and the Kyoto Saga, both that and the OVA was called the Kyoto Saga. Both of Blue Exorcist for me was really the show that started there was really more of this of the more character driven part, because it basically took the son of Satan and made him a weapon against Satan and just molded him into that, and then adventures ensue.
I watched a bit of Blue Exorcist. That was a pretty good show.
Yeah, it was
From
also
what I
talked
saw.
about in our I think it was one of our first one. When we went Anime Blues, when we went down there and did our Christianity panel for that one.
Oh,
People asked about that one and Fairy Tale.
Yeah, and we also got some talk about JoJo, because apparently Jesus is the first JoJo.
Yeah. And part 7 of JoJo, the plot of it is basically a horse race across America to gather the body parts of Jesus that are scattered across America for some reason, which means the Mormons are right in Iraqi's universe. And
I love this conversation at Blues. It was probably my favorite panel we did that weekend.
Okay.
yeah, I saw the anime birthday. So that Instagram page where it's anime birthdays for December 25th. They actually included Jesus Christ from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
They did on Christmas Day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that, Jesus' name in Hebrew, Yeshua Yusef, can be almost called Jojo.
Yeah.
Kind of. My favorite part about that is his name is Josh.
Yes.
Translated from the Hebrew to Greek fashion that it was, and then translated to English, his name is just Josh.
Yeah.
So if you know a guy
Isn't
named Josh, call him Yeshua, and it'll give him a nice feeling of power.
It's like, isn't a lot...
Fleeting
Jesus
moment
really, like,
as he's hanging
pretty much
outside
like
the
Joshua
main
the
store.
Anointed One, so pretty much Greasy Josh.
The literal translation is Greasy Josh.
Lovely. Anyway.
Or Josh of Bethlehem.
Okay, so with... So-
Jesus Christ and the Apostles, just Greasy Josh and the boys.
Alright, so...
Hangover reference. There it is.
Alright, so with...
Our final topic is how's Berserk affected our lives?
horribly. No, I'm
Let's,
kidding.
let me go first before these guys. I got into Elden Ring recently, and I have sent videos. Well, I sent the video of the first person who found the Mira monument in Elden Ring.
Oh, okay.
In which you can see if you connect online, you'll see everyone bowing to the Mira monument in Elden Ring. There's like it has been 24/7 ever since the guy died. There's always one person bowing in respect to the main monument.
Yeah, there was something similar in one of the online
Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, where there was the big long procession of that made me. I'm not a player of Final Fantasy, but that made me that as a huge fan of Berserk, that made me happy that there was a fandom that was obviously parts of Final Fantasy. I understand were influenced by Berserk in some way,
mainly because of Cloud and the Big Sword.
Yeah. So I was happy to see that kind of tribute paid out to Mr. Miura, but with Berserk, I'll just, because I know these points by heart at this point. Berserk is my favorite anime. It's my favorite manga. I know it in my sleep. The manga is a tome larger than the Bible, but in any case, I love all the characters. Yes, even Corcus. I love the story. I think it has intrigue better than Game of Thrones. I think it's probably one of the greatest shows ever created. So,
I really love the CGI one that came out in like 2016. And now I'm going to be killed by Wade
I
and
want
Yawn.
to drown you in a toilet. Anyway.
Steven, you lost your skin privileges.
Yeah.
Told you.
Anyway, but yeah, Berserk doesn't just mean the world to me as like an anime fan. It just means the world to me as a fan of like story, as just someone who likes good story. Like I haven't really, I'll be honest, I hadn't felt the way I felt about Berserk. The last time I felt that way was when I watched like Lord of the Rings, or when I watched Star Wars for the first time. It's like, oh wow, this is what, you know, storytelling can be. That's sort of how I felt when I watched Berserk. Jan?
I mean, for me, Berserk is like I have a short mental list of like things that if I like ever made my own like, you know, creative work, whether it be a book or, you know, comic series or show or whatever, Berserk is as close to one of those visions that I have, because, you know, like, you know, it's not just like a bloody story, it's like also a human tale about someone trying to first fitting in and then losing it all, and then maybe once again finding it all, and then maybe again losing it all. Like, it's just a story of struggle, and you just wonder if, you know, all that struggle will be worth it in the long run. So
Okay. I mean, that's a good answer. This might almost be dumb, but Hannah, do you have any thoughts on Berserk? Like, anything at all before we start to wrap up?
I like the OP.
The OP is good. The
OP is good.
In fact, once we get done with this, we're going to listen to that OP.
Yeah.
Um,
Which actually, something that kind of goes into another of my, like, probably one of my old hyperfixations, since I haven't really heard much more recent news about Vocaloids, but there's one Vocaloid called Gakupoid, that's a Vocaloid voiced by Gact, the Japanese singer, but Kentaro Miura actually made the character design for that Vocaloid.
Really?
Yeah, so it's like a little bit after like these guys were showing me a bunch of Berserk music one time, I thought like the song Forces like would have really fit with that Vocaloid's voice. So I went to look it up, and nobody's ever made a cover of Forces with Gakupoid yet. So
I'd still rage to it.
yeah.
If he covered it.
Yeah.
But you've watched all of Berserk, haven't you?
The 1997 one,
Yeah.
And I've seen like I think Jan has like 3 or 4 volumes of the manga, so I've read all the ones he has.
What did you think of it?
I like it so far.
Okay. Did you like the anime?
Yep.
Okay.
I meme about it, but 1997 is the best anime from that time. I know I'm trying to argue with Dragon Ball Z and Berserk, but those two came out like generally the same time. But then again, when Dragon Ball Z was showing, it was the Buu saga during the 1990s. It was the late 90s. So the competition there wasn't exactly that much. The Berserk took it from me.
When did Dragon Ball start?
Dragon Ball started in 89.
So did Berserk.
Yeah, well, not,
Berserk as a manga started in 89.
Dragon Ball as a show started in 89.
When did it start as a manga?
Ooh, about 85.
Okay.
If I remember correctly.
Okay. Cool.
So I believe we're coming down to the end of the line here.
Yeah.
So
it's clear that there's considering we've barely scratched the surface of the list that I had compiled.
Yeah.
There's gonna be plenty more podcasts like this where we're just kind of talking about anime that we either like or dislike. Expect more anime that we like podcasts and anime that we dislike.
Yeah.
I'll be sure to come up with another list of shows for next time.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
fine.
And
I've exhausted my list because that's basically what I got.
And you told me to come up with like 5 or 6, so I came up with 6.
just to have enough to get through the night. But it's like, okay, seeing how this works out, we'll definitely come back and do this again.
All right, so I guess I'll take care of the rest of it from here. Again, I guess doing it at the end of the show is better than nothing. Please, please, please donate to our vehicle GoFundMe. Again, I plan to have that running by the end of the summer this year. Internship be damned.
Don't worry, guys. We're making real progress. Steven just chipped a whole bolt off of the car.
Yeah. Wade and I did real unga bunga hours for 2.5 of them, and we took a nut off that's been plaguing us ever since December of last year.
2 hours it took to get that fucking bolt off that, or it took to get that nut off that bolt so we could get the carburetor. And then we had to deal with the goddamn throttle.
Yeah, now we have to deal with the throttle linkage, which thankfully does not have the same problem of stripping the nut as the last one did. So, if we can get that done, this is a labor of love for basically for me, because I want to show up my uncle who said I couldn't get the car started. This is a love of spite and the fact I don't want to see the car being parted out as a parts car.
Oh, sure.
So and also history of Americana 56 Imperial limousine, which basically just means bigger 4-door sedan.
4 doors more.
4 doors more horse. But yeah, we want to do that. Other thing is that just my memory.
All right. Well, I think we're kind of at the end of what we had to say. Just as kind of a reminder, we will be at several cons.
Oh yeah, that's I got it. If you guys want to have any topics for us to talk about, please email us at offthebalcony21@gmail.com. We will see your if you mark it as important and the subject line being topics for the show. I realize that I haven't said anything about that for the last couple episodes or the since the beginning of the show. If you do topics for the show as the subject line and start as important, I will definitely be able to keep a track of it, and I can bring it up to the group and we can discuss if we want to do it or if we want to do it for a later date. So
or if you comment down, if there's enough popular demand down in the comments.
Yeah, we do check comments at least a few days after the video's put up.
Yeah, and sometimes it's a hoot to see the fire alarm comment that.
I still have that in email form.
Oh, nice. But yeah, we had a real fun time recording this. I think we're gonna sign off now. So if everyone would like to give their own personal sign-offs, Jan, Hannah, if you would like to say goodbye to the lovely listeners.
Bye.
See you around.
Thank you very much for listening in on us. We're going to drink the night away and listen to music. So
this has been Off the Balcony Podcast. See you guys in the next one.
Take care.